reflecting on what you've done or what you faced, and knowing that somehow you were able to make it through, and that's the way you kind of build confidence. And the reason I do that is, as Frank was saying, I was born in Mexico. I left Mexico at the age of 6, came to this country not knowing a word of English, and grew up in the San Joaquin Valley, which is really the agricultural country or agricultural capital of the world. My parents were migrant workers. They worked with Cesar Chavez when I was a kid. I remember when Robert F. Kennedy was killed in 1968. I was picking tomatoes, and there was a whole radio broadcasting. It was a whole day. You know, Kennedy was killed. Kennedy was killed. And it was his brother Ted Kennedy who came up and said something about, some men see the way things are and ask why. My brother Robert dreamed of things that never were and asked why not. And that really struck a chord in me, because it was the first time that I started asking myself, why not? Why can't I do this or why can't I do that? So that was like a first little moment in life. Later on, at the age of 13, I was out working in the fields with my parents again, and there was a TV crew who was doing a story on why children work in the fields, working in the fields without water, without toilets. At that time, California had a law that if you were under the age of 15, you could not be out in the fields for more than 6 hours. So right away they gravitated towards me and said, it's a gotcha moment. It's when journalists find the little story and say, we got you. And they started asking me questions, what's it like working in the fields, blah, blah, blah. I never answered the question, how, and I kept saying, well, no hablo muy bien el inglés, that was my excuse to not tell them that my mother was actually breaking the law. But anyways, it left an impression. It was a second impression, but my parents were afraid that the experience was going to force us to leave the country or maybe get deported back to Mexico. For me, it was a moment where I felt like these people were interested in giving me a voice, and that meant all the difference to me. My mother came here and had the vision to inspire me to go back to school. No matter how the way she did. She bribed me in a sense, and my mother bribed me, but she was creative enough to get me to school. And I was able to leave the fields, so you start looking at those things and you start trusting your own instinct, whether it's faith or whether it's religion, but there's something in you that makes you believe in something. And that was, as I look back now, that was critical in building my confidence, in knowing that no matter what obstacles I may face, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make the right decision. And she says, I don't think you can cut it as a journalist. I don't think you have it as a journalist. And I'm telling you this now because you're young enough to go back and find a new career. And, this whole world was just shattered. And I remember I left in my T-top, my Camaro, and I cried and cried and cried on the way home. And all I kept thinking was, well, maybe my parents were right, I should really. My parents at the time had a small restaurant in El Paso called Freddy's Cafe, and I thought, well, maybe their idea is right. Maybe I should manage the restaurant and eventually open other Freddy's like Chico's Tacos, open a lot of Freddy's along the U.S.-Mexico border. And I started thinking that, well, maybe that's what I'm cut out to be, a restaurant guy. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized just how much I love being a journalist. And it's almost like you found your true calling, You found your true love. I don't want to get too romantic here, but it was like your true love was finally tested. And you realize that there's no way, no way someone's going to tell me what I can or cannot do. And I think that was like the biggest, for me, the most positive thing that happened, is that my love for journalism was tested. And someone told me I couldn't do it. And I just turned around and I said, you know what? I have the most incredible laboratory here. I live in El Paso, Texas. I live on the border where I can be bilingual, I can be bicultural, I can understand these issues better than no one in this country. And so I found, I mean, the key for me was finding the right role models, the right people who can kind of pave the way for you. And I mean, I was lucky I had really good professors, whether at UTEP or whether at community college, people who actually believed in me